Hello and welcome to Haverhill, Massachusetts. Today we're going to be riding on the MBTA's Haverhill Line from here down south to Boston's North Station. Haverhill is at the northern end of the aforementioned Haverhill Line, in addition to being a stop on Amtrak's Downeaster. The station really isn't much to talk about, with the main features being a waiting shelter, parking lot, and a large clock above the pavilion on track 1. Despite this massive shelter, the only actual place to board the train is further down the platform at the raised boarding area. If you board between 5 and 9 a.m. on weekdays, however, signs around the station state that passengers can board from anywhere along the platforms. The Commuter and Amtrak lines are a great way to get to and from Haverhill, with the station located directly next to downtown. Despite this, the station only saw an estimated 150,000 passengers in 2019, with 44,511 Amtrak and around 100,000 MBTA passengers. Here at the north end of the platforms are the two designated boarding areas. They're quite small, with a total length of just under one railcar, and feature only a single bench for waiting passengers, but at least they're covered. It's a short wait on the platform before our train pulls into the station. Our ride down to Boston today is Train 208, which is made up of a selection of BTC and CTC coaches, a single Hyundai Rotem bi-level, and a GP40MC locomotive bringing up the rear. Despite all the signs pointing towards the boarding zone, our train actually boards from ground level, which makes you wonder how frequently they actually get used. Heading upstairs, we can find a seat and get settled for our journey south. The last of the passengers climb aboard and our train departs Haverhill, beginning the 1 hour and 9-minute ride down to Boston. As we head out of Haverhill, we can take a second to look at our route for today. Departing out of Haverhill, we'll follow the Merrimack River to Lawrence, backtracking on our ride up north on the Downeaster. Just south of I-93, the Downeaster splits off on the Wildcat branch over to the MBTA Lowell line, while we continue on down the Haverhill line. Our train passes Wakefield, Melrose, and Malden, crossing the Mystic and Charles rivers before arriving into Boston's North Station. Seating on board is very basic. There's maybe 1 inch between my knees and the seat in front, with very little space beneath to stretch out. The seats are assembled in benches in a 2x3 arrangement. There are no armrests or division between seats, so be prepared to get comfortable with your neighbor on crowded trains. At-seat amenities are almost non-existent, with the only two being an armrest on the aisle side of each row, with a handle on the top of each headrest for passengers walking down the aisle. There are luggage racks and coat hooks above each seat, although they're pretty hard to access from the aisle. All in all, it's the usual suite of commuter rolling stock features, and the MBTA really ticks all the boxes. If you wanted a good view of the surrounding landscape, then you've come to the wrong place. The windows on this car are terrible, and are really scuffed and scratched to the point of being almost entirely opaque. I wish it was just a layer of grime that could be cleaned off, but the years of harsh conditions have made sure that this is a permanent feature until the glass is replaced. Fortunately, I'm able to find a less screwed up window for a brief run parallel to the Merrimack River. The 117-mile river stretches from Franklin, New Hampshire to Newburyport in the Gulf of Maine, a few miles east of our starting point. Unfortunately, the trees lining the tracks are quite dense, leaving just a few pockets of blue water scattered throughout. If you're enjoying the video so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free, and it really helps support the channel. There's a lot more incredible content on the way, so stick around if you want to see more. Breaking off from the Merrimack River, our train heads south, soon reaching the split between the Downeaster and the Haverhill line. The Downeaster takes a rather interesting route up north, using the MBTA's Lowell line through Wilmington before transferring onto the Haverhill line via the Wildcat branch. The section of track runs through Wilmington, Massachusetts, and is named after the local high school's mascot, the Wildcats. Scheduling is the main reason behind the decision to use two lines, despite the Haverhill line being a more direct and quicker route. If Downeaster trains were to run exclusively on the Haverhill line, then they would get stuck waiting for MBTA commuter trains to clear the mainly single track running from Boston to North Wilmington. Instead, the Downeaster takes the Lowell line to Wilmington and then uses the Wildcat branch to transfer onto the Haverhill line before continuing north. As we make our way down the line, why don't we take a quick look at some stats about our train? Taking us back down to Boston today is MBTA Haverhill Line number 208, and is powered by one of the MBTA's GMD GP40MC locomotives. Each GP40 is powered by one of EMD's 645 V16 engines, producing a maximum output of 3,000 horsepower. GP40s are rated for a top speed of between 77 and 105 miles an hour, but track speeds limit trains to a maximum of 79 miles an hour. The Haverhill Line runs a total of 33 miles between Boston and Haverhill, serving 15 stations in total, including the 2 termini. Travel times on the route average out to around 1 hour and 10 minutes, which leaves an average journey speed of a lowly 28.28 miles per hour. Ridership took a hit back in 2020, but is on an upward trend as the pandemic nears its end. Daily ridership as of October of 2022 came in at 5,806 passengers, or around 2.1 million passengers per year, making it the MBTA's 6th most used commuter line in 2022 so far. The bathroom on today's train is located at the front of our coach. Not all cars have bathrooms, so you may have to wander the train for a bit before you find one. All bathrooms on the MBTA are accessible, so there's never a worry about accessibility or ease of use. The bathroom is definitely on the nicer side of commuter rail facilities. All of the counters and fixtures are clean and appear to be in good working order. The sink works well, although there wasn't any soap, but there was a hand sanitizer dispenser on the opposite wall. At a glance, the paper towels were empty, but upon further inspection, they had just gotten caught in the dispenser. Below that, the toilet paper is well stocked with 2 full rolls. The usual 120-volt outlet is on the far left side of the vanity and looked like it was in working order, although I had no way to test it. Overall, the bathroom is way nicer than I had anticipated from the MBTA, especially considering the state of the exterior of this car. Now, if only they could keep the windows this clean. Time flies by as we continue on south, and we soon reach the Mystic River in the outskirts of Boston. Passing through Charlestown, our next and last bridge is over the Charles River, bringing us into downtown Boston and Boston's North Station. Our train slows to a stop and we can grab our belongings and step out onto the platforms. A quick look at our lead car, number 1640, reveals it to be one of MBTA's CTC-1B cab cars, built by Bombardier in the late 80s and early 90s. As we make our way back into North Station, it's time to bring today's video to a close. Next week, we'll be back in Africa to fly with Auric Air from Arusha to the middle of the Serengeti. The flight out into the wilderness was incredible, with a lot of changes from the way we normally do air travel here in the US, all while featuring the gorgeous landscape of Tanzania and the Great Migration on the plains below. I cannot wait to share the experience with you, so be sure to stick around for when that video goes live. If you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. If you liked the video, drop it a like too. Likes help push my content to more awesome viewers like you, and the more people who enjoy the content, the more trips we can take in the future. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for riding with me, and I'll see you in the next one.